Hello everyone. Today we will study about chapter R environment, which is chapter number 15 in 10th class science NCERT book. In today's video we will learn about environment, its definition, its components, ecosystem, type of ecosystems and biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. Let's start it. Environment. Environment is sum total of all the plants, we can say all the living beings like plants, animals, microorganisms and non-living things like temperature, air, light, water. The living things are known as biotic factors of the environment and non-living things are known as abiotic factors of the environment. In other words, we can say environment is the place, is the surroundings in which a living being lives and interact with the non-living environment surrounding it. Now, living beings always interact with each other. For sustenance of life, living beings interact with each other as well as with the non-living things of the environment. As environment consists of mixture of gases, particles including nitrogen, carbon, oxygen and water, and these compounds then change into another forms to complete the biogeochemical cycles, and these biogeochemical cycles in actual help in sustenance of the life. Now next is ecosystem. Ecosystem in which all organisms such as plants, animals, microorganisms and human beings, they interact with the non-living physical surroundings is known as ecosystem, and it has biotic and abiotic components. The biotic components of ecosystem are producers, consumers, producers which produce food by the process of photosynthesis, for example plants, then consumers which consume this food, which are dependent on other things, on producers for getting their food, and then there are decomposers which help in cleaning of the environment, which decompose the waste material or left out material or the organic matter. Now abiotic factors of the environment are non-living factors, and these are wind, sunlight, soil, temperature, atmosphere and water. Now abiotic components or abiotic factors of the environment are the non-living components of the ecosystem, and these include the physical environment. These include adaphic factors which are related to the soil texture, topography, water and air content of the soil. Then inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, oxygen, water, phosphorus, sodium, potassium and calcium. These are involved in the cycling of the materials in the ecosystem, and organic compounds such as proteins, here it will be cycling. Organic compounds like proteins, carbohydrates and lipids, and these form the major part of the living body and link the abiotic and biotic components. Then there are climatic factors such as sunlight, temperature, pressure, humidity, moisture, rainfall, and these all factors affect the distribution of an organism in a particular area. Now biogeochemical cycles, these are the pathways by which chemical substances move through the abiotic and biotic components of the environment. Here in this diagram, carbon cycle is depicted. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is used by plants for photosynthesis, and these plants, this organic carbon, these plants are consumed by organisms, and during respiration animals and plants release this carbon dioxide again into the environment, and the dead organism and the waste product form fossil and fossil fuel, which is mainly in the form of carbon. By the process of carbonization, coal is formed, and then the factories emission or industry emission also release gases like carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and in this way the carbon cycle get completed. Now ecosystem, which is formed due to the result of interaction between the organisms and the environment, is a natural ecosystem. For example, forest, ponds, gardens, these are the natural ecosystem. Here you can see in this diagram forest, ocean, lake, desert, these are the natural ecosystem. This is the type of ecosystem. Ecosystem is of two types, that is natural and man-made. Natural ecosystem is forest, oceans, they constitute the natural ecosystem, whereas the ecosystem which is created by human beings and did not exist naturally, that is the artificial or man-made ecosystem. For example, crop fields, aquarium, these are the artificial ecosystem. Here in this diagram, 10 examples of man-made ecosystem or artificial ecosystem is shown. Here you can see crop field, garden, then greenhouse, zoo, aquarium, fish farm, dam, artificial wetland and zoo. These are the artificial ecosystems. Now the comparison between the natural and man-made ecosystem. Natural ecosystem are the gifts of the nature, and whereas man-made ecosystem are engineered by man. These are man-made ecosystems and also known as artificial ecosystem. This flowchart again depicting the type of ecosystem, that is man-made and natural. And natural ecosystem is further divided into aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem mainly related to the ecosystem found in water, and terrestrial ecosystem also known as land ecosystem. Example of terrestrial ecosystem is forest, desert, grasslands, whereas aquatic ecosystem may be the marine ecosystem or the freshwater ecosystem. Example of marine ecosystem, sea and oceans. Freshwater ecosystem, river, lake, pond and pool. Now what are the functions of ecosystem? Ecosystem indicate, or we can say help in providing the solar energy or indicate available solar energy and efficiency of the ecosystem to trap the same, because an ecosystem can sustain only and only if there is enough sunlight for the sustenance of the life. Sunlight agar beta hogi proper, then the plants can make their food by the process of photosynthesis and are able to sustain life of the dependents. Like as I have used it, plants are autotrophs, they make their own food by photosynthesis, but there are heterotrophs which are dependent on plants for getting their food. तो प्लांट्स खाना तभी बना पाएंगे अगर इनफ सनलाइट है. तो अगर कोई इकोसिस्टम वेल एस्टेब्लिश्ड है, स्टेबल है, तो दिस मीन्स दैट इज गेटिंग इनफ सनलाइट. Then it gives information about the available essential minerals and their recycling periods. It provides knowledge about the interactions and interrelationship between the various population, between the population and abiotic environment. It also helps to know about the conservation of the resources and protection from pollution and inputs required to maximize the productivity. इस पॉइंट को थोड़ा सा और क्लियर करती हूँ. मान लीजिए कोई इकोसिस्टम बहुत स्टेबल था, बट कुछ चेंजेस हुई एनवायरनमेंट में और उसकी स्टेबिलिटी कम होनी शुरू हो गई, वहाँ के ऑर्गेनिजम्स का नंबर कम होना शुरू हो गया. तो ये चीज़ों पे हमें इन चीज़ों पे चेक रखना पड़ता है कि कहीं रिसोर्सेज डिप्लीट तो नहीं होते जा रहे, कहीं रिसोर्सेज की ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन तो नहीं होती जा रही. हमें रिसोर्सेज को कैसे कंजर्व करना है, हाउ वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट देम, हाउ वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट आवर एनवायरनमेंट फ्रॉम पोल्यूशन, और कैसे हम प्रोडक्टिविटी को मैक्सिमाइज करें. इन द इकोसिस्टम द प्रोसेस ऑफ एनर्जी फ्लो एंड बायोजियोकेमिकल साइकिल्स, these proceed side by side, and the energy flow in the ecosystem is unidirectional, while the movement of nutrients is cyclic. Now next is type of substances in our ecosystem. These are broadly categorized into the biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. Biodegradable substances are those substances which get broken down by the biological processes or by the bacteria. These get consumed up, and as we know that we release a lot of waste from our daily life activities, and that waste is thrown in the environment, and most of the waste if get consumed, that the waste which get consumed like vegetable peels, fruit peels, these get consumed. So these are the biodegradable substances, these are decomposed by the bacteria. Whereas non-biodegradable substances are those substances which are not broken down by the bacteria or saprophytes, and these get accumulated in an environment and help and harm our environment because they affect our environment adversely. And the non-biodegradable substances, for getting rid of these non-biodegradable substances, we have to use some physical processes, like we have to use heat, we have to use pressure, and we have to use certain techniques to get rid of it. Now, under certain conditions, these non-biodegradable substances, these can persist for longer time in our environment because they take lot of time to get degraded. And और कई बार ये degrade नहीं होंगे तो हमारे environment में ही रहेंगे, इनसे पीछा छुड़ाना हमारे लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है, and we have to take appropriate step to get rid of it. And these steps include, यहाँ कुछ examples दे रखी हैं पहले कि how the one example is given that about the non-biodegradable substance, that is DDT. DDT is dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, and ये यहीं तक आएगा बच्चे, no need to do this. Dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, and it is used as insecticide. We use insecticide, pesticides, mercury, lead, arsenic, aluminium, plastic, polythene bags, glass, radioactive waste we generate. These all come under the category of non-biodegradable substances. And if these persist in our environment, they cause the harmful effects like biomagnification may take place, algal bloom can take place, then this will cause pollution and will spread diseases. Now, the harmful effects of these substances, biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. अगर हम जो वेस्ट है, घर का वेस्ट है, चाहे वो वेजिटेबल पील्स हैं, फ्रूट पील्स हैं, विच कम अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ बायोडिग्रेडेबल, प्लास्टिक वेस्ट है विच कम अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ द नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल, इसको अगर हम अपने एनवायरनमेंट में ऐसे ही फेंक देते हैं, प्रॉपर डस्टबिन नहीं यूज़ करते हैं, तो दिस काइंड ऑफ वेस्ट विल डिस्ट्रॉय द नेचुरल ब्यूटी ऑफ आवर सराउंडिंग्स विल बिकम डर्टी. And the decomposition of these waste, that will result in production of foul smell, and that foul smell will irritate us. Then these waste may block the drains also. During rainy season, the non-biodegradable substances, when they enter into our sewage system, they block the drains and creating pool of waste, and these kind of pool of waste become the breeding grounds for the mosquitoes. And as you know, mosquitoes, then mosquito larva breeding grounds they will become, and mosquitoes spread a lot of diseases like dengue, chikungunya, malaria. Now, how we have to get rid of these non-biodegradable substances? For getting rid of this, we have to use proper use of dustbin should be done. Then we have to take care of the personal and community hygiene. Dustbin should be placed in areas in the streets in such a way that people should be easily accessible to throw their waste in that dustbins. Then secondly, we have to avoid the collection of water in our nearby areas, because stagnant water acts as breeding ground for the mosquito larva. Then we have to avoid using pesticides, insecticides, go for the organic farming. Then we can use these vegetable peels and fruit peels for making compost, because by digging a pit we can throw our biodegradable waste in it and we can make compost. We can use earthworm also for making vermicompost, and that compost can be used for gardening purposes, for increasing the fertility of the soil. So these are certain ways by which we can change the path to get rid of it, or we can change the path to make our environment clean and healthy. Grow more and more trees to make it pollution free, and avoid using plastics, use carry bags, use your paper bags or cloth bags for bringing material. No need to use polythene bags. So such kind of steps, if we will adopt, we can get rid of such things. That's all for Today let's recapitulate. Today we have done definition of environment, which include living beings and non-living beings, and these living and non-living beings interact with each other for the sustenance of the life. Ecosystem and its components like biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic components are the living components, whereas abiotic components are the non-living components. Then we have done type of ecosystem, in which we have done natural and artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem created naturally by the nature, and man-made or artificial system are created by man. Example of natural ecosystem are the forest ecosystem, whereas man-made ecosystem is aquarium or a garden maintained by people of a society, that is the artificial ecosystem. Then we have done biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. The substances which get decomposed by bacteria are the biodegradable substances. These mainly include the organic waste, and the substances which are not broken down by the action of bacteria or saprophytes are known as non-biodegradable substances. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.